Please take your stage.
Thank you, Mr. Durga Prasad. Thanks a lot for an excellent introduction. And I am humbled, honored, and privileged to have Sri Ramakrishnan ji with us and all the other participants who are also stalwarts in their own field. I see that there are lots of doctorates, business leaders, corporate leaders. Thank you for giving an evening, and I hope I live up to your expectations of satisfying your curiosity about creativity, innovation, and design thinking. Let us start the screen sharing. Is my screen visible, Mr. Mohan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You see, today morning, when I posted the invite on the WhatsApp, Dr. Bihola wrote back to me that it is the most proper topic and need of the hour. How right he was. That creativity and innovation is the need of the hour. There is one more thing which is missing in this name, that is design thinking. Let us see how it is a need of the hour and why he is right. Now, where do we begin this webinar on creativity? I think to understand why it is a need of the hour, we need to go right back to the beginning when it all began. And when I say we need to go right back to the beginning, I really mean the beginning. It was 4.6 billion years ago that Mother Earth was born. And 3 billion years ago, life appeared for the first time on Earth. It appeared in water. And it was 360 million years ago that life came from water to land. And 5 to 8 million years ago, man, as we understand, appeared. But it was a mere 200 years ago that Homo sapien, the species to which we belong, appeared on this earth. Friends, see the irony of it. The predicament which the Homo sapien, who appeared 200 years ago, faced is the predicament which we are facing today on this day in 2021. You must be wondering what I'm telling. Yes. What are the predicament he faced? He did not know anything about what the future looked like. And traditionally, we are all habituated to depending upon our historical data to take decisions on how the things will go. He did not have any historical data to depend upon. And all our historical data has been made null and void by our dear friend, Corona. COVID has smashed everything that we know. Psychologists don't get tired when they tell us that man is a social animal. He likes to mix with people. He likes to be in groups. And today COVID says social distancing is the norm. Man likes to go out. He likes to mix around. But no, he cannot. Man did not like to be confined to one place. Today we are all confined to our homes. Man has always divided society. But COVID does not understand anything about division. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are a Westerner or an Indian or a Far East person, it doesn't care. That which is not visible to our eyes has played the great leveler. And what is even more surprising is 85% of the world is a developing world. And the fatalities are only 21% in it. That means 15% of the developed, highly technologically advanced world has been hit by 79% of the fatalities. What's happening? Countries which thought everything is over suddenly find there is a resurgence. The way forward, nobody knows. The problem, they are unable to define. And what they want as a new normal, no one can tell. This is precisely what is called a wicked problem in design thinking. Today, my dear friends, we have to go back to those days, 200 years back when man appeared, to understand what it is we have as an arsenal to face the problem that we have got with us and the future that we want to build. Let the story begin. Let us reinvent the wheel, because that's precisely what the journey is all about. The protagonists of this story are these two people called caveman number 1 and caveman number 2, because I don't know what their parents christened them. We see both of them standing aghast. Caveman number 2 is scratching his head. Caveman number 1 is preoccupied thinking about something. They are both aghast for the simple reason they have had a narrow escape from the jaws of death. They have just escaped an avalanche and moved away. The avalanche they have seen for the first time, so they just don't know what it is. Caveman number 2 exhorts caveman number 1 to move away from there, lest it should come again at them. Because it was for the first time they saw things moving at them without any reason, inanimate things moving at them. But caveman number 1 is thinking of something. He's preoccupied. What is he thinking of? He saw lots of objects rushing down the hillside. But what he observed was round materials were moving faster than jagged or lengthy things. My dear friends, the first of the creative mindset had appeared that day, the absorb mindset. Caveman number 1 absorbed the information. The round objects move downhill faster than jagged objects. He was busy thinking about it, but caveman number 2 was really worried that something will happen. So he exhorts him, persuades him, and takes him away from there. They start moving towards their camp. As they are moving, they see in a distance 4 members of their camp standing on top of a cliff, with 2 of them trying to flap their hands near the cliff. Immediately, caveman number 1 remembers that the earlier night, they were all sitting and talking in their language, whatever that language was, as to how they had seen some things fly. And they were thinking whether it is possible for them also to fly. They saw that they were flapping their wings, that these people also have 2 hands. Can we flap our hands and fly? Immediately, caveman number 1 remembers that that day in the morning, as he was going, he was carrying a pumpkin. The pumpkin happened to slip out of his hand and fall on the ground. And it broke into many pieces. He sees in his mind's eye that these cavemen also have round heads like that pumpkin. And he sees the distance from the cliff to the ground is very, very far. It's very deep. He sees in his mind's eye the caveman jumping, trying to flap his arms like the wind, but going and falling on the ground and the head splitting and blood splattering all over the place. He rushes to them, stops them, explains to them what had happened that day in the morning, and persuades them not to try to fly. Within hours of the first mindset of creativity appearing on earth, the second had appeared, the envision mindset. Caveman number 1 had envisioned what could possibly happen if this caveman had jumped off the cliff. Caveman number 1 and caveman number 2 persuade the other 4 to move away from near the cliff, and they start moving towards the camp. As they are moving, dark clouds hover above them, and it starts raining heavily. And cavemen do what they normally do when they are not near the cave. When it starts raining, they look for a big tree under which to take shelter. They see a number of trees, but they see that one of the trees, under it, there are a lot of animals. So they don't want to go near the tree. They see another tree near it, which is not that big, but still that appears to be safer. So they go and stand near that other smaller tree, while the big tree shelters lots of wild animals and birds. They are standing there. The rain catches speed. There is thunder. There is lightning. When suddenly, crash! A huge lightning strikes the tree under which the animals are standing. the tree bursts into a light. For the first time, cavemen have seen fire. They don't know what it is. The whole tree bursts into a flame. And the animals standing under it, they are roasted. The birds are roasted. Standing there, the cavemen look aghast at what's happening. The animals are roasted. The birds are roasted. There is warmth all around. There is light. And there is rain. It is all a mystery for them. They simply cannot understand what is happening. They stand there looking. Caveman number one is stunned at all these things. As time goes by, the rain stops. The fire goes down slowly, even though the embers are there. And the whole area is filled with the aroma of roasted meat. Caveman number one is intrigued with what he has seen. He moves towards the place where the roasted animals are lying. He goes there, he sees these are the animals which they hunt. He takes a piece of it and tastes. He finds it so nice. He calls everyone. They all sit and eat. As they are eating, suddenly it strikes him. The lightning hit the tree. The tree burst into flames. The flames roasted the animals, and roasted animals are much more tasty than raw animals. Within a few more hours of the second creative mindset being born, the third creative mindset was born, the connect mindset. Caveman number one had connected all these factors. They have a good dinner. The food is very tasty. For the first time, cavemen were tasting something which was roasted. They were really enjoying themselves. They enjoyed it. Caveman number one suggested to the others, let's take this food and go to the camp so that others can also have. And he also suggests that let us take this material which is there, because it can give us warmth, it can give us light, and it can also help us roast the animal which we hunt. So they try to lift it, it burns his hand. He suddenly realizes it is not something which is to be dealt with so easily. He finds ways and means, takes some leaves from other trees, then wraps it around, takes it. They all move towards the camp. As they are moving, they realize that along with them, that beautiful aroma, appetizing aroma, excuse me. The appetizing aroma of the roasted meat was also moving. Suddenly, they are attacked by wild animals. The wild animals come, attack the 6 of them. 2 of them lose their life. And most of the roasted meat which they are carrying is taken away by those animals. It's a very sad moment. Caveman number one sits down and starts thinking, oh my God, why did this happen? Why did the animals have to come out in this dark? Animals normally do not come out in the dark to attack. Why did this happen? He sits down and starts thinking, trying to understand what could have happened. The 4th of the creative mindset had come out into the open, the reason mindset. He reasoned that it must be this meat, the aroma which is so appetizing for us, must be appetizing for the animals also. So he realizes that if in future I have to take this, I have to find out a way by which I can take it without attracting the animals. He's very sad. He's very sad. He decides that somehow I have to convey this to all the prehistoric caveman people, wherever they are. They should never get into this sort of a problem. They should never get attacked by animals. So what can he do? He decides that he will paint so that whenever people cross through that place, they will see it and they will understand what he is telling. Slowly, as he paints the pictures of what was happening, there is a catharsis of his emotion. Everything flows out. The 5th of the mindset had come out, the transformed mindset. As his sadness reduces, he gets into a celebrative mood because he realizes that the experience of the day has made him richer in understanding the world around him. He gets into a celebrative mood. When the other caveman comes, he says, come on, you hum a tune and let me try to make a noise which will be along with it. He gets into the sixth of the mindset, the flow mindset. As he is playing the instrument, he suddenly realizes that all that is fine. But why not I try to find out a way by which I can be safe from these animals? If ever I collect meat, I should not be attacked by them. What can I do? He suddenly remembers that those objects which are moving down the hill were much faster than they could move. So he starts getting his whatever instruments he had at that time, and he chisels the things. This is the first shape, the square shape, which was easy to chisel. He chiseled it. But he realized that it is the round objects which move faster, not the jagged ones. This evaluation helped him make the wheel. The seventh of the mindset had come out, the evaluate mindset, and with that, my dear friend, the wheel had been invented. Today, we are to again reinvent the wheel because Corona has made all our past, it has dumped it. We have to reinvent the wheel and understand through these 7 creative mindsets how to move forward. That is where our creativity will come in handy. But the question that comes in front of us is, why is it that all the questions, all the answers came only in the mind of the first caveman? Was the second caveman not capable of any of these things? Is it that only one person in those prehistoric times was creative when everybody else was not? I don't know. I don't have an answer to it because there is no record of it. But if you look into the current times, we know what percentage of people are creative. If you take into account the fact that creativity is nothing but applied intelligence. Applied intelligence is what we call normally creativity. A very surprising thing is visible when we look into the current distribution of this applied intelligence or creativity. Only 0.6% of the people have cornered 39.3% of the wealth of the nations. In other words, 39.3% of the money is only with 0.6% of the people. That means with 42 million people. And another 32.3% of the riches is with 4.4%, that is 311 million people. In other words, 72% of the riches in this world has been cornered by just 5% of the people. The balance 95% are trying to make both the ends meet with just 28% of the riches. If you translate it into applied intelligence, we can say that 5% of the people are creative, 95% are not. But that is not what God meant. This is not what God wanted. He created all of us equal. We all come with a clean slate. Whatever we take from here. And whatever we create here itself. And this is proved because even in the olden days, as now, children are always very, very creative. Which parent does not enjoy going to the rooftop and shouting that his or her child is a genius? Which child, 10 months or 11 months or 12 months or even 1 year, cannot wrap us around its finger and make us dance to its tune? All children are extremely creative. They make rockets out of bottles. They build castles out of sand. They build palaces out of cartons. What all they do? what all questions they ask. We adults cannot answer all those. All children, all of us were very, very creative when we were young. And as in the Stone Age time, even we are depressed, worried, tensed, and strained as we grow up. We grow up to be a pain, not only for ourselves, but for the society. Why does this happen? If you go back, you will see that caveman number 2 is asking caveman number 1. If you are going to invent everything, then what is there for us to do? Caveman number 1 replies, no. There is a lot of things yet that I have not been able to invent and find out. He sees in his mind bridges, harmonium, that is musical instruments, rockets, paintings. There is so much more to find out. That brings us to the second time in this webinar when we find that we are clueless about the future, because all these things have already been invented. Does it mean, in addition to COVID, since everything else has already been invented, there is nothing for us to do anymore? Just imagine. On one side, you have COVID, which has rendered the future a mystery. On the other side, everything else has been already invented. Now, what do we do? No, friends. Things are not that dark. And to understand that, we have to understand innovation, which is the end point of creativity. Let us understand innovation the way it should be understood, not as per the dictionary. What we see in front of us is just the consumption economy. Oh, you might ask me, what else is there? What else is there to see? What is the meaning of consumption economy? Consumption economy means everything which is there around us, everything from where we consume is a consumption economy. And in this economy, we only see, but what really drives this economy is the non-consumption economy. It is a non-consumption economy which drives the consumption economy. That economy which is not visible to us. You must be wondering what I'm telling. Let's continue a bit more. Sustaining and efficiency innovation is what drives the consumption economy. The consumption economy is driven by two types of innovation. One is called the sustaining innovation. The other is the efficiency innovation. But the driver of this entire consumption economy, the sustaining innovation and the efficiency innovation, is in the hands of the market creating innovation, which is directed towards that economy which is non-existent today. When you invent a new product or when you innovate a new product, it brings about a huge explosion in the consumption economy, and the consumption economy grows. In other words, the ratio between the consumption economy and the non-consumption economy will always remain the same, with every market creating targeted the consumption economy, the non-consumption economy, the consumption economy will grow. And both these economies are driven by two different types of innovation. The consumption economy more by directional innovation, and the non-consumption economy more by intersectional innovation. Let us understand this in a bit more clearer fashion with examples. Let us talk about the consumption economy first. Now, I would like some of my participants to tell me which country is the world's largest consumer today. Can any one of you please unmute and answer this question? Which country is the world's largest consumer today?
US.
India.
Who was it?
US is the
Who was
largest
it?
consumer.
Who said who? US? May I know the name of the person, please?
VK Jetli.
Mr. Jetli.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely right. US is the world's largest consumer. But I'm sure you all know that in the end of the 19th century and early 20th century, US was not the world's largest consumer, nor was it the richest country in the world. May I request everyone to mute please, so that there is no noise. US was neither the world's largest consumer, nor was it the richest country in the world. It was another developing nation. Then what made US the richest country in the world? One of the factors was this person. Tell me if you recognize him. Can any one of you recognize him?
Henry Ford.
Who is it?
Baldev Raj.
Yes, Baldev Rajji, you are absolutely right. It is Henry Ford. It is Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motors. It was somewhere around 1906 or 1908. Henry Ford was going from bank to bank with a begging bowl in his hand, asking for financial help to prop up his automobile industry. There were 8 other automobile companies in the US at that time. And Henry Ford wanted money to scale up his operation, but he was rejected at every point on the ground that he did not have the financial might to build a company. One day, Henry Ford happened to go to a meat manufacturing plant. What does he see there? He sees this conveyor belt conveying meat from one place to another. Suddenly it strikes him. Why should my workers go to the components? Why can't the components come to them? The assembly line was born. And that changed the history of America, the fate of Ford. There was a huge boom. The assembly line and few other innovations, few other changes that he made to the company converted Ford into the largest automobile manufacturer. So much so that it impacted the entire nation. Let us see how it impacted the nation. Ford enabled roads, schools, hotels, suburbs, restaurants, construction, tourism, oil refining, petrol pumps, vehicle finance, you name it. It enabled the industry. For the simple reason, from 20,000 cars per year, it went to 2 million cars per year. There was a huge amount of shift in the perception of the people about traveling. The cost of a Ford motor Model T came down from $850 per car at that time to $360. Steadily, it came down to $360 and everybody could afford it. It leveraged steel, glass, rubber, paint, cotton. Every industry was required to grow because Ford required so much of all these materials. And what did it do in terms of creating jobs? It created jobs for management, finance, distribution, sales, advertising, you name it. Every industry had a boom. So much so that the United States of America in 1909 was manufacturing only 20,000 cars. It went to 2 million cars in 1922 and became the cause for a major socio-economic revolution in the country. This, my dear friend, is an example of an efficiency innovation. An efficiency innovation, one efficiency innovation ensured that America, from a developing nation, became the richest country in the world. As all this was happening in Michigan, Detroit, something was happening in New York. Let us see what was happening there. Can any one of you recognize this young man? Would anyone want to tell me who this young person is? Let me tell you one thing. The world was never same after what he did. None of us, our life, he has touched our life. Everyone's life he has touched. He has touched everyone's life to such an extent that we cannot dream of going back to what the world was before he found out what he found. Can any one of you guess who is? Let me tell you his first two names. His first two names is Willis Haviland. Willis Haviland completed his engineering from Cornell University and joined Buffalo Forge. He was working in Buffalo Forge. A few blocks down, there was a company called Sackett and Williams. They were lithographers and printers. They were the #1 lithographer and printers in the New York. And they had purchased a state-of-the-art machinery for printing, and that machine was playing truant. It was not printing properly. The printing was not aligned. It was creating huge problem. The wastages were enormous, and the company was losing money like nobody's business. They tried everything. They tried it for a couple of weeks, and when they failed to find out what the problem was, they appealed to Buffalo Forges to come and help them with the problem. Buffalo Forges sent their young, engineer, Willis Haviland, to find out what the problem is. Willis Haviland was not an ordinary man. He was a very, very intelligent person. He started checking up everything step by step. He first checked the entire machinery. He found that the machinery was perfect. The state-of-the-art machinery was indeed the best of technology that was available at the time. It was functioning perfectly. There was absolutely no problem with it. Then he checked the material which was being used to print. The material was top-class quality, worthy of a company like Sackett and Williams. No fault with it. Then he started talking to the technicians and understanding their level of capability. He found they were the best in the industry. All the three angles were over. There was only one angle left, the environment. He started looking at it. He could not find anything odd on the first 2 days. But he started moving all over the plant to find out what could be wrong. He suddenly realized that the problem was occurring mainly because of change in temperature and humidity across the plant. He surmised that it must be the temperature and humidity due to which this problem is occurring. But what to do? You can't tamper with Mother Nature. There was a big problem. The third day in the evening, Willis could not get sleep. He was walking up and down. He got out of the house, locked the house, walked out, and started moving towards Pittsburgh railway station. He kept on going towards Pittsburgh railway station. As he nears the railway station, he saw a steam engine standing on the platform. Something from his subconscious was struggling to come out. He was attracted toward the steam engine. There was some magnetic force pulling him towards it. He started moving towards it. He kept on moving, kept on moving. There was a fog which had enveloped the steam engine because of the steam and the cold temperature outside. He entered into the fog and froze. A smile broke on his lips. He had found the solution. He walked back. What is the solution he had found? That air, if sent through water, it was possible to both control the humidity and the temperature of the air. My dear friends, the first air conditioner had been invented. In 1902, he installed the first air conditioner in Sackett and Williams and the world was ready for the biggest explosion in the consumption economy it was going to see. Unfortunately, Buffalo Forgers was not intelligent enough to capitalize on it. All that Willis Haviland got for his invention was a promotion. But Willis Haviland was not a fool. He knew the potential of what he had done. He tried to patent it. He patented it on 2nd of January, 1906. He received the patent in his name, resigned from Buffalo Forgers and started. His full name was Willis Haviland Carrier. Carrier Aircon, air conditioning company was started. In 1925, Rivoli Theater of New York installed the first air conditioner. Commercialization began. And this is the advertisement which they released. And in 1931, Sherman and Schultz came out with the first domestic air conditioner, which was priced at 10,000 to 50,000 per unit. By 1953, 1 million air conditioners were being sold per month. There was a huge explosion across the world for air conditioners. So much so that this market creating innovation is today a $124 billion market, growing at 9.9%. In 2018, it was 102, growing at 9.9%. By 2020, it has become a $124 billion market. If I tell you it's a $124 billion market, I don't know what the impact will be, but let us see what the impact is in a different way. Industrial to commercial to domestic. The first was a market creating. The second and third are sustaining and efficiency innovations. So this market creating innovation, just imagine what must have been the value of the first air conditioner which was installed in Sackett and Williams. And what is the outcome today? To understand that, we need to understand IMF report. India is the 5th in terms of GDP. And the GDP, if air conditioners were a market, would have been anywhere between Kuwait and Morocco. Friends, there are over 200 countries whose GDP is being calculated by IMF. And we are between 59 and 60 as an air conditioner. That is the impact of a market creating innovation. And that is how you see that market creating innovation got Willis only a promotion, but the impact it had on the consumption economy was $124 billion. That brings us back to the question. Is innovation a matter of inspiration and a flash of creativity? Or can a person by design be innovative and build a business career in life? Because today, my dear friend, we are standing at that juncture in the evolution of Earth where the future we do not know. Corona in this 1 year has given us a new phrase, the new normal. And what the new normal is going to be, none of us know. So do we depend upon flash of creativity to tackle what is there in front of us, the unknown, or can we by design be innovative and build a business career in life in the new normal? To understand this, we have to go back to the World War II. In World War II, we have Commander Jaitley with us, who is a veteran in the defense services. He would be able to tell us better that the World War II was mainly won by the Air Force. Air Force was a key element in deciding the fate of World War II. And till nearly 60 to 70% of the time, the Allied forces were being shot down by the Axis forces, like the way we kill mosquitoes. The United States Defense Department created a special research group consisting of this gentleman, Leonard Jimmy, was one of them. He is the proponent of the decision theory. The second is Frederick Mostler, the person credited with starting the statistics department in Harvard University. The third is Robert Weisner, who is the person who has given cybernetics to us. And the fourth was Milton Friedman, who got a Nobel Prize. And the fifth was Abraham Wald. Abraham Wald was the person who gave the term survival bias because of what he did during this period. In fact, it would not be an exaggeration if I were to say that World War II was won single-handed by Abraham Wald without firing a bullet or without stepping into the battlefield. The problem which was given to these five people was to find out where a plane has to be armored so that it will not be shot down by the Axis forces. It was a very tricky problem. Where should a plane be armored? What makes the problem very tricky? Not that they could not armor the plane. What made the problem tricky was if you armor the plane too much, the plane will not take off because it will become very heavy. And if you don't armor the plane adequately, it will be shot down. And if you try to take a middle path, then the plane becomes slow and becomes a sitting duck again. So they had to select very, very specifically where to armor so that the plane will not be shot down. And when they checked up, this is how the plane was shot. It was a problem which they were finding it very difficult. These five, the most brilliant minds of the world, were finding it very difficult to find out where the plane should be armored. Abraham Wald was very worried, but he was a person who, if he had been living today, would have been termed a design thinker. Like Willis Haviland Carrier, he would have also been termed a design thinker. What did he do? He decided to get inspiration from the people who have been affected by these planes which are shot. He went to the hospital and he started talking to the soldiers. He found that there were soldiers who were shot in the leg, in the arms, in the stomach, everywhere, all over the place. There were head injuries. There were bullets had grazed over the head, arms, shoulder, all the places they were shot. He called the doctor. He asked them, "What is this? I don't find a single place where they are not shot." The doctor said, "No, sir. There is one place where these people have not been shot." He said, "Where is that?" He said, "Point blank on their forehead. If they had been shot on the forehead, they wouldn't be here." Abraham Wald asked, "Why? Why would they not be here if they had been shot on the forehead?" He said, "They would have died on the battlefield and they would not have come back." It was a defining moment for Abraham Wald. He immediately went back to where his colleagues were, pulled them up, called the top brasses of the armed forces, the Air Force and everyone, and brought them to the hospital and told them, "Look at these soldiers carefully." They looked at the soldiers, but they could not understand anything. He told them, "See, these people have been shot all over the place, the same way as our plane has been shot all over the place. But there is one place none of these people have been shot. Because when they have been shot in that place, they never came back. They died in the field. Let us go and check the plane for that one place where it is not shot." Friends, they found one particular spot of the plane in the engine area where there were no bullet shots. That is the place they armored. And from that day onwards, the Allied forces stopped losing planes. And in the end, when it was analyzed, they found that the difference between the Axis and the Allied forces was only 5% loss of plane. Allied forces had lost 5% less than the Axis forces. That is why the World War was won. This brings us to the question as to what is this design thinking which helped Willis Haviland Carrier understand air conditioning and Abraham Wald find out where to armor the planes so that they do not lose the planes anymore. This is the definition of design thinking. Design thinking refers to the cognitive, strategic, and practical processes by which design concepts are developed for the innovation of products and services within businesses and social contexts. I'm sure you must be thinking what to do with me. I tell all this and bring you to this definition. Believe me, I did not understand it. And I will not blame anyone who says, is this what all this was about? No. When I read this definition, I realized that this is not going to work and that I will have to find out a method of understanding design thinking in a slightly better manner so that I can reach out to all of you. My dear friends, creativity, innovation, and design thinking is a much maligned concept. All three are terribly maligned. Let us unmalign it. Particularly design thinking, which is only about 2 decades old, let us unmalign it. What is design thinking? This is a pot. All of us know this. This pot is made of clay. And the potter is working on the clay. When the potter works on the clay, you get the pot. The clay is a substantial cost, which gets converted to the pot. The expertise of the potter is a complementary cost, which converts this clay to the pot, and the effect is the pot. Let us see now. Creativity is the substantial cost. The 7 creative mindsets are the substantial cost, which when acted upon by the process called design thinking, yes, that is precisely what I said, the process. Design thinking is not about thinking. Design thinking is a misnomer. Design thinking is doing. When the expertise of the potter in the form of design thinking acts on the clay, the output, the effect is innovation. That means you have to build the 7 creative mindsets, balance it, then apply design thinking techniques on it, and the outcome will be an innovative thing. It could be an innovative process. It could be an innovative product. It could be an innovative, move to bettering a relationship. It could be an innovative way of expressing yourself. It could be anything. When the clay is worked on, when the creative mindset is worked on by the expertise of design thinking, you get innovation. The question is, can all of us develop or reclaim our creativity? Because we have seen that we were all creative as a child. But somewhere along the line, our creativity has got suppressed. Today, if all of us were creativity, there would have been equal distribution of wealth because opportunity is there for everybody. No one is deprived of opportunity. We all come into this world as a clean slate. At the very first second of our taking birth, 11 million bits of information enter into us. And every second, 11 million bits of information are entering. We come with a preloaded software called the genetic memory, and that is common for all of us. And then every second, 11 million bits of information are entering and our frames and biases are created. And it is through our frames and bias that we see this world. So if we were creative enough, if we knew how to handle these frames and biases, all of us would have the equal opportunity to make money and live a better life. So is it possible even now? To answer this question, I would like you first to identify who this person is. Can you tell me? Can any one of you mute and tell me who this person is? Do I hear an answer? I'm sure there is no one in this group who does not know him, who has not seen him, who has not enjoyed his presence. Now let us see if you can recognize him. He is famous the world over as Superman, Christopher Reeve. This is Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve is also a horseman. He likes riding. One day when he was riding, he fell down, had an accident, and became paralyzed for life. But he did not give up. Doctors told him that he will never be able to move or do anything again. He was paralyzed, neck down, total paralysis. But he did not give up. He fought paralysis. Every bit of money he had earned through the 4 Superman movies, he spent on his therapy. Yeah, he did not give up anything. He kept on trying. He tried so much that he came back to near normalcy. So much so that there is a newspaper report which says the paralyzed Superman star told news of plans to launch a new film carrier. And he started the Christopher and Dana Reeves Paralysis Foundation. At that time, neuroplasticity was an up-and-coming science. Christopher Reeve was the biggest example for it. So much so that the US government made a legislation so that no American will be deprived of it. Listen to this.
The legislation I'm signing today also makes progress on another front for which many Americans have long waited. And the Christopher and Dana Reeves Paralysis Act is the first piece of comprehensive legislation specifically aimed at addressing the challenges faced by Americans living with paralysis.
So, my dear friends, the question is not whether you can reclaim your real creativity. The question is not whether you can also become a design thinker and make design thinking your default behavior. The question is not whether you can also innovate. The question is, do you really want to build your life? Is your family and personal growth your priority? If your answer is yes, then join the masterclass. Creativity and Innovation, a masterclass, practical use cases and application areas to deliver breakthrough results. The Creativity Masterclass content starts with an audit of understanding your current creativity profile. How creative are you currently? What is your creativity profile? Understanding why your creative drive and ability got suppressed. Unless you really understand where this happened, why this happened, how this happened, you will not be able to retrace and reclaim it. The third thing is step-by-step roadmap to reclaiming your creative power. You will become a child again. And the only difference will be this time you will be living your life in the reverse. How many times have we thought, why can't we start us off old and become young? Here is an opportunity for you. You can grow younger day by day by step-by-step reclaiming your creative powers. You will understand everything about frames and bias strategies to identify and overcome them. Because frames and biases are what we navigate throughout our life. That is what we are. The 7 creative brain sets that we saw: the absorb brain set, the envision, the connect, the reason, the transform, the flow, and finally, the evaluate brain set. All these brain sets, you will learn how to develop it and balance it so that you can kickstart the creative process and initiate and integrate it into your life. This will be followed by the innovation masterclass. Again, you will understand innovation beyond the definition, because if definitions are always confusing, they hide more than what they show. We will understand innovation beyond the definition. We will understand why innovation is necessary, the different types of innovation. We will understand where to focus your innovative efforts. We just cannot get up one day in the morning and say, today I am going to innovate. No, that's not the way things are done. You have to know where you have to focus for different types of innovations that are necessary. There are touch points where you will have to focus. Focusing everywhere will not help. And then what are the adoption strategies? What is an innovation model? And finally, how to apply innovation in practice. The strategies and the model, how do you integrate them and bring them into your daily life? That brings us to the design thinking masterclass. Design thinking masterclass starts with your understanding of how ready you are. You understand design thinking beyond the definition again. What is a design thinking mindset? What is the design thinking action plan? How do you integrate your mindset with the action plan which is there? You will have to understand how the brain behaves and functions, because if you don't understand yourself, how will you understand the world? What is adaptive opportunism in design thinking? What is ethnography in design thinking? What is visualization and implementation strategies? How do you visualize things? The elements of a design brief and design audit. How do you write a design brief? The design brief tells you what you want to achieve. Having written a design brief, you need to audit it to understand whether the design brief you have written is the correct one, whether it serves the purpose. Then you come to the first step, the discovery phase. It is a very important phase. So let us understand it in greater detail. How do you discover what the problem is? How do you start? First, what is questioning and how is it the driver in design thinking? Second, what is a persona? How do you build a persona? What are the benefits of a persona? What is the sample of a persona? What is the importance of a persona? What is a persona? Can any one of you tell me, please? Would anyone like to volunteer for a live demonstration of a persona? Is anyone willing to volunteer?
Yes,
Who is it?
Srikant. Srikant.
Yes, Mr. Srikant. So how old are you, Mr. Srikant?
I'm 42, sir.
42. So I presume you're married and have children.
Yes, sir.
How many children do you have?
2 kids, sir.
What is the elder's name?
Vamsi Saigant.
Vamsi. Okay. Now, Srikant, I am going to make a statement and I want you to respond by telling me what you see in your eyes, in your mind. Okay?
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Customer is king. Did any image come? No.
Customer is king, right?
Yeah. No image came.
No.
Now, the same sentence I'm saying now, listen to this. Vamsi is king. Did an image come?
Yes.
Vamsi came wearing a crown or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
This is what is persona creation. Companies scream at the top of their voice, customer is king. This is for this segment. This is for that segment. Nobody relates to it because nothing comes in their mind. You say this is for this segment of the customer. This is for that segment of the society. What is it? Who is relating to it? Nobody is relating to it. The same way as when I said customer is king, your mind is blank. You don't know anything called customer. But when I say Vamsi is king, flash, you immediately see a person. Immediately you have ideas of what the characteristics are, how old he is, how he looks, how he behaves, what pleases him, what are his pains. Am I right, Mr. Srikanth?
Yes, sir.
This is precisely what is persona building. In design thinking, you take a particular segment, you take a representative of that segment, give him a name, and then you build the characteristics around him. Now you are able to relate to all the problems of that person. Now you prepare a product or a solution to the problems that that person is going to face. You understand what I mean? A person has to go from home to bus stop. If I say a person has to go from the home to bus stop and it is very inconvenient, nothing comes. But when I say Srikanth has to go from his house to the bus stop, immediately you relate, because every problem you face in your journey to the bus stop, you can understand. Persona is a very important concept in design thinking because it helps the entire world to relate. You take a particular segment, you build a persona, you give a name, you write all the characteristics, and then you present it to those people who are going to ideate in the second phase as to how these problems can be solved. This consists of the empathy map. When you build that persona, you empathize with that person to understand his customer journey. What is his journey? You build a persona, you empathize with him, you build the customer journey, and then you create the customer experience pyramid. Starting from the lowest level to the highest level, you escalate the experience of the customer. One by one, the customer could be in a commercial context, the customer could be in a personal context. When I say a customer, I mean the person you are interacting with. You build the customer experience pyramid and then start escalating it one by one. And all this you do through a context map. In which context it is being done? Today, the context is the COVID pandemic. And you have the opportunity to map, to integrate all this. What is the opportunity that you are addressing? You use questions, you build a persona, you empathize with that segment, that representative of the segment, you build the customer journey, you build the customer experience so that the problems can be solved, and you slightly see how to keep on improving the experience so that there is a lot of happiness and satisfaction for him. You do all these things in a particular context, keeping in mind the opportunity which is available. This is just one phase of design thinking. The next phase is now, in this, you have to understand the methodology. What are the pitfalls? What is the structure and implementation for successful ideation? Once all these things are done, only the ideation phase starts. Someone comes and tells you, my watch is not working. You sit down and start creating ideas. That doesn't work. What are the stimulus and assumptions to bring call to action? How do you roll out the ideation process so that it does not fail? More often than not, I'm sure all of you have heard of the Ali Bean paradox. It is, you have a group think, you come out, everyone accepting that what is being told is right, we all agree with this. Then when you meet each one of them individually, they say, no, yeah, I did not want to tell against them because although people were telling like this, so I accepted it. Yes, Mr. Karan, You have raised your hand? Mr. Karan, you have raised your hand. 2 participants have raised their hand. You
Divakaran
can
and
unmute and
Deepika.
ask.
Mr. Divakaran and Deepika, both of them.
Yes, please.
Sir, sir, it is Divakaran.
Yeah, tell me, Mr. Diwakar.
I joined you very later. Sir, it is a meaning in designing and developing, and then third party is.
I can't understand.
Wait a minute, I told.
When did you join, Mr. Diwakar?
Just after 10 minutes, sir. 10 or 15 minutes before.
Then, we will not be able to go
Clear?
all the way back. You please
Yes,
wait.
yes.
At the end, I will answer your question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Then, the second phase, then, the concept development. How do you develop the concept? Design criteria and napkin pitch. Once the discovery phase is over, you write down the criteria. Then the third phase is the hypothesis testing and prototyping. You have defined the problem. You have created various solutions for the problem. We all know that the decision is only as good as the various options available to us to select from. Once the various options are available, then you select the most appropriate one as per the requirement based upon the context and the opportunity, and then you test it. You test it through hypothesis and through prototyping. How to do that? And then you come to the important aspects of prototypes. What are the various types of prototypes? Storytelling as an important aspect of prototyping. The fourth phase is the evaluate phase. This is the final phase. How do you evaluate it? Once you evaluate, you come to the co-creation with the customer. Design thinking brings in the customer into the process of creating the product along with him so that his requirements are fulfilled. What is the masterclass methodology? The methodology is we always start all the classes with an audit of what your current state of readiness is for it. Like creativity, the masterclass will begin with how creative are you? Innovation, the masterclass will begin with how innovative are you currently? Design thinking, what is your readiness to incorporate and make design thinking your default behavior? The second is case study approach of internalizing through elaborate examples and explanation and exercises. All these three will be there. You will be learning by hands-on. The third is quizzes to facilitate your understanding, co-creation with other participants. And finally, 3 months one-on-one hand-holding to internalize the process and attain subject matter expertise status. This is the methodology for the 12-day masterclass. Then we have got the benefits. What is the benefit of attending this 12-day masterclass? You will learn to balance and cogently develop a holistic creative mindset. Second thing is how to reframe current limiting beliefs and attitudes and create a liberating value system. We are filled up with limiting beliefs, how to get rid of it so that we can have a liberating value system. Third thing is learn to meet challenges creatively and enhance the quality of your life. Today, COVID has thrown such a huge challenge in front of us that unless we are able to meet it squarely, we will not be able to live a peaceful life. You will understand in practical everyday life what is innovation and why it is necessary. You just cannot do things, like Einstein has said, doing the same things and expecting different result is another definition of insanity. We just cannot keep being the same way and expect things to be very different. That will not happen. Innovation at the 4 levels of the individual, team, leadership, and organization. This can be applied to family and society also. Internalize design thinking process and create it as a default behavior. As I said, design thinking is all about doing, not thinking. You can internalize the process and make it your default behavior. And design thinking is the only one which is going to work going forward. Develop a structured approach to life and its challenges. Life, in one of my classes, a person asked, at what age should all these be learned? I said, at what age has a man the right to be happy? It is not age specific. You can structure your life and its challenges at any age. And finally, learn how to create products, services, and experiences that delight your customer. When I say customer, anyone you interact with is your customer. The creativity class is on 4 days, 19th February to 22nd February, evening 7 to 9:30. The creativity class begins on 19th February to 22nd February, 4 days, evening 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The innovation class is on for 4 days again, 26th February to 1st of March. And design thinking is for 4 days from 5th of March to 8th of March, all from 7 to 9:30. The same program is same or very similar program is being offered by some premier universities. The charge is $3,500 for 12 weeks, per week, 3 to 5 hours. That works out around 36 to 60 hours, something around the same that which we are going to be giving. And the cost is $3,500. You can register now for these 12 days masterclass by paying 500 rupees and then decide if you want just one module you want to attend for either innovation, creativity, or design thinking. The cost is 5,000. You'll have to pay the balance 4,500. If you want 2 modules, that is any of the 2, then it is 9,000 rupees. And for all the 3 modules, creativity, innovation, and design thinking, the total price is 11,000. You have to register now by paying 500 and pay the balance on 16th of February. The course begins on 19th of February. Every week, 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 7 to 9:30. What is it you get in addition? 3 months of free consultation, hand-holding, monthly get-together, where we will be discussing, I'll be discussing various aspects of design thinking, creativity, and innovation. 1 day every month for the next 3 months, there will be a get-together. A checklist will be prepared and given to you so that you can go through the checklist and ensure that no step is missed. The entire video recording of the course will be provided to you so that you can revisit the course and the lectures whenever you want at the convenience of your home. A certificate will be given which will be invaluable. For business owners, it will be invaluable to remind you that you should follow this process. And for students or career people, it will be invaluable because whenever you produce it in the interview board, the entire questioning will move towards creativity, innovation, and design thinking, and you will floor them and get the job. Finally, you will be networking with like-minded people. The fees is for Indians 11,000 rupees. Registration today with 500 rupees. For Singapore people, $210 Singapore dollars, and for everyone else, $155 US. Grab this opportunity to become a creative innovator and a design thinker. Click on the, develop a stance in the context of the pandemic with the tools to help you on the way and design an enviable life experience for yourself. Click on the PayPal link, which is being posted in the chat box, and pay 500 rupees or $10 and register. The balance can be paid on 16th of February. Thank you for your patience. I'm open for any question. Mr. Mohan, Mr. Durga Prasad, are the links posted in the chat box?
Yes, Mr. has been posted.
Thank you. You can click on the PayU link and pay 500 rupees and get yourself registered. The balance 10,500 can be paid on 16th. And those of you who are from outside India, you can pay $10 now and the rest can be paid on 16th. I'm unsharing now. I'm open for questions. Yes, Mr. Balwant, you can ask me any question you want.
Yeah, that is if I will do the first course, what's innovative, you say innovation, yeah. That
Huh?
5,000 cost is 5,000 rupees.
Yes. You can
If
register with 500 and you can pay the 4,500 on 16th. Yes, tell me.
Whether I want to continue again in other courses, 2 more courses are there.
Yes.
That you allow to me then? I will pay. I will
You will have
submit
to
the
pay
fees
4,000 for the next one.
That's right. First I submitted you one amount, then I completed first one.
Yes.
Then I like at courses, I want to continue to both of courses. Then can I do it like this? I will pay the letter and first I pay 5,000.
See,
then I
you
pay
can
another.
definitely pay 5,000 and join. And then you can pay 4,000 and join the second. If you want to do design thinking, then 2,000 will not do. Again, you'll have to pay 4,000 because when people are paying 11,000 upfront, they have to have some benefit for having trusted me, isn't it?
Okay. But there is no any payment scheduling you're providing, You should provide some payment scheduling.
I have already told you, you can pay now by 16th, 11,000. If not, you can pay 5,000, join the first course. Then Monday, the course will be over. If you want to join again on Friday, you pay the balance 4,000 and join on Friday.
No, before
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you complete.
No,
again, if you want.
If I want to pay before it, there's no issue. If I want it before it.
If you want to pay before, you can pay and join. No, nobody's stopping you.
Okay. Like 6,000 I pay now, 5,000 I pay, 6,000 I pay later on. You can do like that.
Yeah. If that is your problem, then you can do it. No issue.
Okay.
See, if you say that you want it in installment,
Yeah.
That can be done. That can be done. No issue. You can talk to me about it.
Okay. Thank you.
But you'll have to pay it before the third course begins.
Okay. That's right.
You can register now and then you can talk with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to know what is relationship between system thinking and
Who is speaking? Who is speaking? Please, everyone mute so that the person who is asking the question can ask. Yes. Hello.
Hello. What is the relationship between system thinking and design thinking?
System thinking is a slightly different thing. It is based upon a particular system. Within the system, whatever you are thinking, that will come under system thinking. Design thinking is human-centric totally.
But is there any relationship between the two?
See, design thinking integrates every sort of thinking into it. A system is a closed entity. Design thinking operates on uncertain levels. Levels of uncertainty is very, very high in design thinking. Design thinking is, the main type of thinking which is used in social problems like population, poverty, climate change, all these things where you are unable to, either define the problem, you are unable to visualize a process by which you can move forward, or you are unable to understand what the outcome should look like. In all these cases, design thinking is the most appropriate one. Somebody's audio is making a lot of noise. System thinking is limited to a particular system. It does not. Yes, Ms. Deepika.
Arun sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you it was a really informative and lot of takeaways from your excellent session today. I wanted to revisit on the persona slide of yours, sir.
Tell me. You see, I am going to be having, persona slide will come. I am going to be having on 18th an innovation masterclass, because innovation is a much maligned thing. I'm going to be having, please attend. All those of you who can, please attend that. I will send you the links. Yes, persona. What do you want to know about persona?
So,
Ms.
sir,
Deepika?
can you? I am recollecting that it was all about the customer. So when you mentioned that customer is king, you asked somebody to volunteer and imagine what kind of image is coming in the mind.
Mine. Yes.
So what came to my mind is the crown. Let the so
So what came in your mind is the king, not the customer.
yes, the king came to my mind. But as you mentioned, it is all about the customer. But
Yes.
as we generally know that persona is an image or a personality that a person presents in public or in a specific setting.
No. That is not what they see. The dictionary don't go by the dictionary definition of a persona. Persona in design thinking means what happens is, you see, supposing you have got a segment. Let us say you are planning a problem solution. You want a solution for the problem of a particular segment. Okay. Give me a segment.
Telecom, a business vertical.
Any segment you give. Any
Telecom.
segment.
Telecom.
No, that is an entire vertical. The segment means you want to address a problem, right? A problem is for a person or a process, isn't it? Supposing, let us say you have a software engineer.
Okay.
For those people who are writing software, they have a particular problem. So you want to find a solution for them. Let us assume for a few moments. So you have a problem with software engineers and you want to find a solution for them. Now, if you were to say that we are looking for solution for a software engineer, what comes in your mind? Nothing comes.
Nothing
right?
nothing as such.
Nothing has come. Do you know any software engineer?
Yes, sir.
Tell me the name.
Srishti Yadav.
Srishti Yadav. Okay. Now, if I were to create a persona of a person who is a software engineer, give that person a name, write all the characteristics, the customer's journey, everything I write, and I give that name, that person the name of Srishti Yadav, and come and tell you, Srishti Yadav has this problem. Now what happens?
It becomes more personalized.
It becomes, you relate, isn't it?
Yes.
Now you are the person who is going to define the problem, and the ideation is not going to be done by you alone. There are going to be n number of people who are going to do the ideation.
Correct, sir.
Correct? Now all these people, they don't know Srishti Yadav, only you know Srishti Yadav. But when you create the persona and present it to them, you tell Srishti Yadav is 28 years old. She is a graduate in, computer science from, MIT. She has done this, she has done that. This is her family background. This is how, she comes to office. These are the problems she has in office. This is her social life. This is her personal life. When the entire persona is built and given to the ideation team, now they are addressing the problem for a person who is live. Correct or not?
Correct, sir.
You are able to relate better. You are able to empathize with that person, understand the pain points, and create a value proposition which will address that pain point.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Now what happens? You have the customer journey of Srishti Yadav. You know which are the points where the pain is taking place. Now you start addressing all those points. You are not blindly firing in the dark. You have got touch points where you are addressing. So the solution creating is easy.
Right, right? So we know the root cause of the problem, then solution is easy.
You identify, you create the solution. Now, having created the solution, you have an experience pyramid in front of you. You see at which level the solution is entering and then how to escalate it further.
Right, sir.
Slowly you start escalating it so that you reach a position where Srishti Yadav starts getting aha moments.
Right, sir.
Now you understand this entire solution in the context in which it is being done and the opportunity which is available. Do you realize how much more sound your solution will be?
Absolutely, sir.
That is precisely what design thinking is.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much
Thank
for a
you.
detailed explanation.
Yes. Anyone else?
Next, Mr. Kanaka Pratap has raised a hand.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Who is it?
Sir, this is Kanaha Pratap from Kanyakumari.
Yes, tell me, Mr. Kanaka.
Sir, I was inspired by your session, sir. Your session is very, very energetic session. So, one humble question, that is, if I say that I am a homemaker, can you accept me as your student for this master class?
Why not? See, a homemaker is a person who makes the nation. The nation is standing on home only, isn't it? And at home, you have to be so creative. You have to handle your husband differently. You have to handle your child differently. You have to handle the tradesman differently. You have to handle everyone differently.
Yeah.
So you have to be very creative. And there are so many hundreds of problems you're solving every day.
Yes, sure.
You have to be very innovative.
Yes, of course.
And the problems now with the COVID has become even more intense because husband is sitting 24 hours at home.
Yes.
So every 15 minutes, you are being requested to provide coffee and snacks.
Yeah.
I know the type of problem I create at home, so I know what problem you must be getting.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sir, I want to ask one more question to you, please.
Who is it?
Baldev Raj, this side.
हाँ बोलिए जी बलदेव जी बोलिए.
मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि जो व्यक्ति अपना करियर ऑलमोस्ट एंड करने के बाद ट्रेनिंग इंडस्ट्री के अंदर रीस्टार्ट करना चाह रहा है, तो वो हाउ डज दिस कोर्स इज बेनिफिशियल टू हिम?
आपको ये प्रोग्राम कैसे लगा, आज का वेबिनार?
नहीं, प्रोग्राम तो अच्छा लगा. क्यों अच्छा लगा? कि काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव है और अपने आप को चैलेंज में डालने का एक अच्छा मौका है, जिसके अंदर आप लर्न करने का प्रोसेस इतना अच्छा लग रहा है कि आप उसमें प्रोसेस में अपने आप को डालेंगे तो यू विल बी समथिंग एक्चुअली.
आपको मालूम है मैं कितने, डू यू नो हाउ लॉन्ग आई हैव बीन डूइंग दिस वेबिनार?
मैंने पहला लास्ट वाला ज्वाइन किया था, सेकंड नहीं ज्वाइन किया. उससे पहले भी आप, उससे पहले ही मैंने देखा था आप कर रहे थे.
You know, last 6 months only I am doing. Okay. Only during the COVID I started this webinar. So okay. I am also not a trainer by profession. I have also started this very recently to share my experience with everybody. If I can do it, you can do it. And what I am doing is purely based on design thinking. What do you think I did just today? You tell me. I started the story with an observation made by Mr. Bihola, right? Dr. Bihola made an observation on my WhatsApp, and I started it from that. I'll show you that. Can you see?
So
it's not visible.
Is
it visible?
I can't see that. It's not visible. Okay. I can't see.
You see, Dr. Bihola had made an observation. I started it from that. And this observation was made at 1:43 in the afternoon. By evening, my entire program based on that observation was ready.
That's right.
The storyline. So you see, if that is not design thinking, what is? You can also internalize it, Mr. Balwant. You can also do it.
My dear respected sir, I completed the course last year, trained the trainer, but I'm not able to do anything just now. तो मैं अपने आप को इतना डाउन में काउंट कर रहा हूँ, तो मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ क्या मुझे भी ट्रेन आप पूरी तरह कर पाएंगे ना?
101%. इसमें कोई दो राय की जरूरत ही नहीं है. दो राय की इसमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है.
क्योंकि किसी को एक बार में समझ आएगा तो मुझे 5 बार में समझ आएगा.
5 बार में समझ तो आ जाएगा ना?
आ जाएगा, फिर तो आ जाएगा. वो एफर्ट चाहिए होगा, फिर तो आ जाएगा.
अरे आप तो बहुत कम
फिर तो खेल जाएंगे हम सर. बहुत तगड़ा खेल जाएंगे हम सर 5 बार.
अरे आप कितना फैलिएगा, हम भी BHU के हैं. Don't worry. Absolutely don't worry. You see, I'll tell you one.
खेल जाएंगे कह रहा हूँ सर मैं. खेल जाएंगे सर उतने में तो।
BHU which batch, Arun?
BHU 1978.
Okay.
That shows you how good a student I must have been, that I don't even remember which batch.
Which department?
Geology, and chemistry.
Okay, great.
Who is it?
Jetli, Commander
Jetli
Jetli.
ji. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. आप मुझसे बहुत सीनियर हैं जी.
नहीं ना, मैं जूनियर हूँ, मैं 79 का हूँ.
अच्छा, किस डिपार्टमेंट से हैं आप?
IIT Kharagpur,
Oh,
Electronics Communication.
very good, very good. So that is what Dr. Molutosh was telling, welcoming you, senior.
हाँ, उसका senior हूँ, yes. Yeah.
चलिए, very great.
Great. Chalo, it was really nice interacting
Thank you,
with you,
boss. Thank you,
listening
thank you,
to you.
thank you.
It's great.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch again.
Sure, sure, sure,
Thank
sure,
you.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure. Okay, I'll just leave now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you for coming.
Arun
Sure.
sir.
Huh.
Yeah.
Sir, this is Shrikant here.
Yes, Mr. Shrikant.
Sir, this is just a small request. It's not something that, since you all started talking Hindi,
Yeah.
there are some of the people like me doesn't know Hindi, okay? So is it going to be a multilingual session or it's just
Absolutely, it's going to be only English.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for
Most
that.
welcome, most welcome. Incidentally, I know many languages, so I, speak in the language which people want to talk.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But the thing is, I just want to let.
Don't
our
worry,
con-
Mr. Shrikant. It is going to be purely in English. My English is also not that bad.
Well, I can understand in English. That's not an issue. If it is in English, I can understand. But the thing
It's
is,
going
if
to
it
be
is in
purely
Hindi,
English. Don't worry. You are from which state?
from Tamil Nadu, sir.
பின்ன தமிழ்ல பேசலாமே நம்ம.
Very good. நீங்க தமிழ்ல பேசினா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். But
ஏன்
others
அதை
cannot
பத்தி
understand, right?
ஒண்ணும் கவலைப்படாதீங்க. யாருக்கு எந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல வேணுமோ அந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல பேசி முடிச்சிடலாம்.
Okay, very good, very good. இல்ல சார், நான்
புரிய
வந்து
வைக்கணுங்க.
எல்லாருக்கும்
இது பாருங்க, என்ன விஷயம்னா யார்கிட்ட எந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல பேசினா புரியுமோ அந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல பேசி புரிய வச்சோம். அவ்வளவுதான்.
வெரி குட். இல்ல அந்த சார் இப்போ இதுல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா
Don't worry, the course will be purely in English only. It will not be bilingual. But I will definitely, for any individual query, I will explain in the language in which the person wants. You see, the whole idea is not that the course has to be completed. The whole idea is you have to fully understand it. Because the purpose is that you should become a creative person, you should become an innovative person, and at the end of the course, and the following months, 3 months, you should become a subject matter expert in all these 3 aspects. That is very important. Any other questions, Mr. Shrikant? Any other questions from anyone?
Sir, I have a Dush Srinivasan here.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a basic question. I'm sure you would have an answer, but to just clarify my doubt, what I have.
Tell me.
So, sir, the concepts that we are talking might not be at a workplace where we are employed. We might not be able to implement whatever we are getting to know about or what we are trying to learn. So there would be some restrictions or constraints that we might have to take things forward.
Who is speaking? Who is speaking?
Sir, this is Srinivasan.
Mr. Srinivasan, where are you speaking from?
Basically from Tamil Nadu. Currently, I'm placed in Mumbai.
Okay. Yes, tell me.
So for us to implement the freedom of implementing everything what we are getting to know about it might not be there. So how do we overcome that particular aspect?
Is your question over?
Yes, sir.
This is precisely the myth that you people live in. This is the myth you will have to break. Please understand one thing, the only piece of land which is important is between your ears. Who is coming and stopping you in your thinking? Is anyone stopping you? Your office has rules, I agree. But does that rule impinge on your thinking? Tell me, Mr. Srinivasan.
No, no, the thinking pattern we could follow,
Just
sir.
a minute, just answer my question. If you are
No,
going to hang on
there
to
is no
your
restriction.
question, just a minute, let me complete first. Does it change your thinking? Does it impinge on your thinking?
No.
It doesn't impinge. So you think in a particular way and your office has a particular rule. That's what you are telling, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now it is your responsibility to think how to work within that rule and implement what you have to do. That is also a challenge you are facing. You are giving up on that challenge. That is also another problem you are facing. Find a solution for it with your own thinking. That's what creativity will teach you.
Okay.
There are 7 different mindsets, brain sets in creative thinking. Each one is of a different nature. How to integrate all these problems does not mean, something out of this world. The problems are all around us. You want to have dinner at 8 o'clock. Your wife says, I will start cooking at 8 and I'll give you dinner only at 10. That is also a problem. Fighting with her will not help you. She's the only one who knows how to cook. Your office has certain rules. They say that you'll have to follow these rules. Now, you've got 2 choices. To operate the way you want within that rule, or persuade the management to change the rule to do things the way you want. Both these are challenges that you are facing. You are going to be learning how to improve your creativity to address all the problems that you face.
Okay.
Please understand one thing. You are in which industry, Mr. Srinivasan?
It is a digital marketing segment.
Digital marketing. So you go to you are in this industry for how long?
Last 8 years.
8 years. 1 year back, you used to go to the office at what time?
Say around 9:30.
If you had gone at 10:30, what would have happened?
Okay. So yeah, few
What would have
information. The regular cycle would have got impacted.
Okay. And your bosses would have been unhappy with you?
Okay. Practically, fortunately, I'm not. I'm the person heading this particular region. So
okay. So your subordinates should have been unhappy with you. That boss is coming late. We have to come in time.
Yes.
Correct or not? So somebody would have been unhappy if you are late.
Yes.
Maybe you also would have been unhappy because you are late.
Correct.
But what happened in the last 1 year? You never went to the office.
Yeah, it is only we getting connected remotely.
So you see, things can change. Things do change. And we have to live with that change. How do you know going forward what is going to happen? Do you know? Companies were so strict on discipline. People have to come in time. Otherwise, we'll mark you leave. 3 days at a time, you come late. There will be a show cause notice. What happened to all that? Corona blew everything apart. You don't even know what the scene is going to be in future. What happened to all the discipline? Has the world stopped because of that?
No, sir.
Mr. Srinivas, I will tell you, everything has an answer. Everything has an answer. Think you can, think you can't. Either way, you will be right. Either to learn is your priority, or to look at why something cannot be done is also another choice. Either you can say, whenever a problem comes, you can always say, I can't do this because. The second is, I can't do it if. Which one are you a part of? Do you want a solution? The solution is with you. The solution is not with me. You say you are the head of the department. Maybe you are the owner of the company. I don't know. Just imagine if you were to learn creativity, if you were to become innovative, and if you were to become a design thinker, how much your team and your company will benefit. Think about it. There is no hurry. You can think about it. It's not necessary that you should do this program, but at least wherever possible, learn about creativity, innovation, and design thinking. It will stand you in good stead. Because the coming days are going to be the days for innovation, creativity, and design thinking only. You can't do things the way things were being done all along. You'll have to change your style.
Sure, sir. I agree.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Good, yes, who is it?
This is Kumaresam from Tirunelveli.
Tell me, Mr. Kumaresam.
Yeah, I am working in oil and gas in Abu Dhabi, sir.
Yes.
I am very impressive for your talking. So this you are telling the customer is a king. So this word is very impressive for me. So I am working in here around 8 years. My career did not change anything as the same position. So how can I change my field? If you have any idea, please tell me.
What do you want me to tell, Mr. Kumaresam? Without understanding anything, see, what do you want me to tell? Without understanding anything about the environment you are in, the condition you are in, what your company is, I can't answer anything.
Yeah, oil and gas company I am working.
I am not an astrologer, Mr. Kumaresam.
Okay.
Or if you want, you can send me a horoscope. There is a good astrologer near my house. I will look up and tell you.
So,
but I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
If you learn creativity, if you learn about innovation, if you learn about design thinking, your life quality will improve.
Okay.
This I can tell you.
So I have to make my creativity more and my development also. We have to make more also.
Make it.
Yeah.
There is nothing to stop you from growing.
Yeah, okay, sir. But 8 years I am a same field and same category. I did not change any step up. That's why I'm thinking why all other
but
people.
Are there others in your company who have grown at the same time?
Yeah, one or two, few people only, sir.
Why did they grow? That means opportunities are there.
Yeah, but they have
it is not as if opportunities are not there. Only thing is you did not avail the opportunity. Ask yourself why. You are the best answer. You only can give answer to your questions. I can't give.
Yeah. But you are telling this customer is our king. This is our all of the peoples are who start the job or who start the business. They also follow this point. This very good.
That is because without customer, no business is there.
Yeah, correct. Because I saw many people and many business are down, but because they are not satisfied the customers.
Yes.
Yeah, I got many people. In future, me also I want to grow up with the business. So that I watch your speech is very useful, sir. Very useful and energetic. I appreciate really. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So should we call it a day? If there are no more questions, we can close it.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Good. Yes.
ராமகிருஷ்ணன் யார்?
சொல்லுங்க சார். நமஸ்காரம் சொல்லுங்க.
பிரமாதம். ரொம்ப ஃபுல் செஷன். ரொம்ப கட் அண்ட் ரைட்டா பேசுறேன்.
இல்ல உங்க ஆசீர்வாதம் சார்.
I really enjoyed it. Okay. Thank you so much for giving this good opportunity for both of us.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Let us meet again. Namaskar.
Good night. Namaskar.